Now, I just want to say, sorry for the weird format. HBO censors are going crazy when it comes to flagging content where you show any sort of video or anything relating to Lovecraft Country, which is why for my last video that I did on this, I mainly had to show images for the majority of the video. So this one, I think I've done something that will fool the algorithm enough in order for me to be able to properly break down this episode promo teaser. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Has the ability to transcend life and death and lives for thousands of years. And I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm not adept in the Lovecraftian mythos. But what I did think was that maybe Christina would have to become one of these Cthulhu type creatures in order to live forever. Now, what I've adjusted that theory to is that it could have something to do with aliens. I mean, we did see that Hippolyta showed up in episode 9. I'm assuming the whole time that she was experiencing what she was experiencing in the earlier episode was happening while all of what we saw happen to Atticus and Diana being possessed by the Pickaninnies and all this stuff was happening while Hippolyta was living for, as she claimed, 200 years on an alternate reality Earth. So maybe this whole thing has to do with aliens. Maybe Christina transcending into this Cthulhu-type creature is like a mortal enemy of these alien beings, and they gave Hippolyta this power to sort of transcend time and space in order for her to help Atticus destroy this creature. I don't really know what's going on. We're going to find out in less than a week. You all let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. What I do think that is sort of confirmed is that the first half of the episode, or the first part of it at least, we do know that they have the Book of Names. So Atticus and Letitia, Montrose, and Hippolyta are all going to be studying up on that. Atticus will likely discover what his one spell is. We saw that he was able to do a protection spell where he summoned a Shaggoth. Speaking of Shaggoths, I want to talk about Shaggoths attacking Dee in the woods here in a second in that car, which sort of confirms that she's been healed. But I think one of the things that he may do is discover an ultimate protection spell that may not be invulnerability, but maybe he can summon one of those Cthulhu creatures. And when he's reaching on the ground, as you'll see it here in a little bit towards the end of this trailer, when he's reaching on the ground, maybe, and he says, there's one thing I didn't tell you, maybe he's talking to Christina, and he's about to summon that Cthulhu creature, and that Cthulhu creature will come up and destroy her. But maybe in order for it to do that, it has to destroy him. Like he has to sacrifice himself in order to summon it. I don't know. But let's continue on with the actual breakdown of the promo trailer. Got it playing in the background. Sorry about that. So pausing right there, we see that there's a scene with Montrose, and it looks like he's talking with Christine, and he's like, bullshit, bitch, you ain't gonna be doing nothing, sacrificing my motherfucking family. It looks like she grabs a dagger, some sort of ancient-looking dagger, and this is probably the actual beginning towards the sacrificing ritual, where she's going to drain. She claims that she needs every single drop of Atticus's blood in order to complete this ritual. And she keeps talking about how her father did it wrong and didn't realize something. So that's what made me think that her father didn't realize that he actually had to sacrifice himself in order to become immortal. He had to become something else entirely, and he didn't realize that. But there's another part in the trailer coming up where we get to see sort of a zoomed-in version of the Book of Names, and it looks like there's two different pages. But it looks like the exact same ritual that her father was doing to sort of bring the Garden of Eden onto Earth. It looks like that same pillar. We have the same imagery of that same gateway that he had built to bring through that, you know, we saw Atticus using his magical ability to cast into in the first episode. This all looks like that same ritual. Maybe this is just a different version of it, the correct version of it. Maybe her father wasn't able to actually translate it correctly. Who knows? But continuing on with the promo trailer. I want to know what's going on with the baptism. We see Atticus being baptized, and it looks like he's in a gown, and so is Letitia. I wonder if that's not some sort of extra protection ritual they're doing. We did see that the Santeria woman came in episode, I think it was 3, and put a protection spell on their house. So maybe what that means is that she will have to, I guess, go and sort of power up, maybe. We do know that the obvious symbolism of baptism is that you're washing away your sins and being born again, being born new. And we did see that there's a heavy religion theme in this show that's coming into the last 2 episodes. We see them praying a lot. Maybe that's what this all is like they have the power of God on their side. I don't really know what's going to happen and why they're in these robes, and it looks like Atticus is being baptized. Maybe they're doing this as an extra precaution or a sort of like power-up. You all let me know what you think down below in the comment section. But continuing on with this promo trailer. This part right there, that's what I wanted to talk about. This is Woody in the woods. And it's very clear to me, at least, that Dee is the one that's being attacked by these Shaggoths. And since they're attacking Dee in the car, and I'll pull up the actual series, the initial series trailer that we first saw when it came out, that confirmed that it was Dee because it was from a different angle, and we saw the Shaggoths attacking her, and she was inside of Woody. The fact that those Shaggoths are attacking her confirms that she's near Artem, and those are the same ones that protect the Braithwaite family. We do know that the Shaggoth that was summoned by Atticus seemingly protects anyone that's associated with him, and we do know that Diana is his cousin by blood. So if those were his Shaggoths, or his one Shaggoth, it wouldn't be attacking Diana in the woods. Obviously, it would try to protect her. So maybe what's happening here is that Diana is brought along with him, and they're obviously going to have a backup plan. They are going to be forced to go along with Christina's plan, but they're obviously going to have a backup plan. I think that's going to involve them using the Book of Names to learn some sort of spell that they will cast right as Christina's casting her spell. Maybe they end up doing something which is similar to what happens in the books, where they attack her power source and make it so that she can't cast magic anymore and sort of drop her off in the middle of nowhere. If they were to do that, that would, of course, continue on, and we could potentially get another season of this show. We haven't confirmed whether it's been greenlit for another season, whether this first one is going to be the only one, or whether it's been canceled or renewed. We don't really know anything as of right now. But as well as this show is done, HBO would be a damn fool to not continue it on. But if they were to continue it on, they could do something where, Christina has an alternate spell cast on her, and she's sort of like blocked from using magic, and maybe has her memory wiped. Maybe they don't want to completely destroy her because Ruby seems like she has feelings for her. Christina seems like she has feelings for Ruby. So maybe Ruby's the one who convinces them not to kill her all the way. But one thing that is confirmed is that Diana gets healed because we see that she's no longer affected by the Pickaninny demon virus in the car, and that she's gone with them to Artem because she's being attacked by these Shaggoths, which are the same ones that protect the Braithwaite family. All right, the last few clips of this trailer. I guess we'll pause it, not necessarily right there. We'll go back a little bit. I do want to talk about the symbolism of that book, so I'll come back to that. But there's a scene on the bridge that's clearly, it looks like the Nine-Tails creature, Montrose, and then obviously Hippolyta because of the blue hair. One thing that is, I think, needs to be said is that someone's going to die this episode. I wouldn't be surprised if multiple characters died. Montrose has been long since coming up, and I made a comment about how he needs to fucking get his because he keeps screwing over the main characters, and, I wanted Atticus to continue beating the shit out of him. But someone commented in my comment section and mentioned that growing up as a black man during that time, and him, which was made obvious in episode 9, suffering from an abusive father, and that's all he knows, it puts a little bit more light onto his character. So it's sort of like a Cersei situation with Game of Thrones. You can see that they're humanized. It's not quite white or black. It's not quite good or evil. It's gray. It's in between. You sort of are, remorseful for Montrose after witnessing what he went through as a child. In that scene where his dad is making him pick a switch and then he beats the shit out of him in front of the neighbors, that actually spoke to me as someone watching the fucking show, because my mom, who's now in prison, I didn't realize it until I grew up as an adult, but my mom had a fucking temper, and she used to do that same shit. She would make us go and pick a switch off of a tree, and if we came back with a smaller switch, she would go and get a bigger one and beat our asses in front of all of our cousins and the neighborhood kids. And it's the thing, it's like they're trying to not only punish you but also embarrass you. And that whole situation I almost started tearing up. That shit was hard to fucking watch. It was crazy, but I do want to say that after watching that scene and having that, you know, touched on my real life type shit, I do have a little bit more, we'll say remorseness. I can't think of the word right now, but I have a little bit more less hatreds towards Montrose, especially since we got to see what he went through as a child. But continuing on with what I was mentioning on this bridge, I do think that this may be a scene where one of the characters dies. This is that same bridge. This is the only way in or out of Artem. So they're clearly trying to leave. I'm not sure if Atticus is with them. Maybe he was sucked through a portal. You can't really tell because the scenes are like cut together really fast. And if someone else was able to slow it down and was able to tell if Atticus is with them on the bridge, I think this may be one of the final moments of a character. But it looks like the Korean lady is with them, the nine-tailed creature, Kumiho. I can't remember her name right now, but she's basically a nine-tails demon, succubus-type creature. It looks like she's with them to Artem. She is in love with Atticus, so I'm pretty sure she went along with them because she'd be willing to sacrifice herself. Knowing that she's like a demon and not of this plane, I'm pretty sure that she would willingly give up her life in order for Atticus to live. She clearly loves him. And then just playing the last few seconds of the trailer here. That's what I wanted to talk about. Well, I kind of already mentioned it, but as you can see, this is the same ritual that her father tried to perform with Atticus from the very first episode. There's the gate element, and then before that, we see the same symbolism that was used in the ritual. And then we sort of just have them like showing us clips from what's going to happen with the rest of the episode. But this right here, that is where I believe Atticus will summon the Cthulhu, the creature from the Cthulhu mythos. One thing that should be noted is that ever since Atticus was given the ability to like see events from the past, future, ever since he was at multiple times during the series given privy information to the past and then also the future, it's sort of determined what choices and what sacrifices he'll make in order to save not only Letitia's life, but his son's life. He knows that his son will grow up and be a successful writer, and that's something that Atticus has wanted to be ever since he was little. He's been a bookworm. He was forced to join the military and was forced to sort of be a tough guy, and quick to react with anger because of how his father was. And his father was the way that he was because of how his father was with him. So it's like this giant circle. But getting back on track here, Atticus seems to be, everything about his motivation seems to be related to trying to save his son and his wife. But what I'm getting at here is, since his motivation is he's getting drastic in his steps of what he can do, I think that he will willingly sacrifice himself in Christina's ceremony. He may not realize it, that he may be given a chance to come back. We were told by Christina to Letitia that the Mark of Cain can not only be used as invulnerability for the person who has the Mark of Cain, but it can also be used to heal someone. So maybe after Atticus willingly goes through with the sacrifice because he knows that it'll, help protect and save his family, maybe Ruby convinces Christina to give Atticus her word that no matter what, she won't harm Letitia or his child. And technically she can't harm Letitia anyway because she's invulnerable. But maybe Atticus willingly will sacrifice himself, and then Christina will use her Mark of Cain to heal him. And in doing so, she loses her ability to wear it, and she ends up dying and turn to save Atticus. I'm not really sure. I've talked and rambled on for like who knows how long in this video. You all let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'm sorry I had to do it in this format, but HBO censors, like I said, Warner Brother really is the parent company. They flag and tag these videos like crazy, and if I wanted to get this video out in a timely manner, I had to do it this way. The next time when I break down the final episode of this series, or potentially the final episode of this first season, I will try to do it a little bit better and maybe do a little bit more focused. If you all want me to break down the entirety of episode 9, let me know down in the comment section. My name is Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Like Goals 420 Reviews.